guys, so this is going to be my long anticipated Q&A. We're going to ignore the fact that this was supposed to happen about 2 months ago and just go with the flow. So I have my iPad just behind my phone so I can see the questions and answer them. It may be chaotic because we're just no planning, just going, but I would try and be on the ball, I guess, but we'll see. Right, so first up we have, here's a non-budgeting question. I always want to know this from people. Who would be your celebrity wolf pack? So 3 celebs you would go out partying with. I think for me, the first person would have to be Adele. I think since watching her James Corden carpool karaoke, she seems like a bull. I mean, I think she can handle her alcohol. Should be fun. We could have a little, if we have too much and have maybe an emotional meltdown, I feel like she's got the lungs to carry us to a good car sesh afterwards. So definitely think Adele. I think I would also pick, who else would I pick? I feel like this might sound a bit random, but I feel like I would also pick someone like Cardi B, which might be a bit left field, but I feel like she would have a really good story after a night out with her. Do you know what I mean? You'd end up having a really good story. I feel like there's no hope that this will happen, but she can maybe teach me how to twerk, because I can't do that. Probably not something to admit on YouTube, but I can't really dance. So she could teach me that. I have no upper body strength, so we're not even going to get her to try and teach me how to pole dance. And then I feel like, who else would be good? I don't know. I feel like someone like Louisa Zisman. I would class her as a celeb. I love listening to Luana the podcast. Her or Anna Richardson, but I feel like maybe Louisa a little bit more, would be great to have to go out with, because if you watch her Instagram stories, you know she is having a ball, especially if she's going out specifically socially and she ain't got to worry about that shit. So Louisa Zisman, Adele and Cardi B. That was very interesting mix, isn't it? Next question. My question is a bit personal. However, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Job, living situation, etc. So, in 5 years, I will be 33, which is wild. I still feel about 22. Anyway, so in 5 years, I for sure want to hopefully own my own property. Whether or not it's a house or a flat, I'm no longer specific in that. With the market at the minute, I just want to have my foot on it. I don't necessarily want to aim the highest. Not that I could even if I wanted to, but definitely own my own property. I obviously want to be financially stable in some variety, so whether or not that is having a full emergency fund, having personal savings so I'm able to do things like holiday or go on trips, etc. Having maybe a partner. I mean, it's not the be all and end all, but be nice. Also being in a position in a job I'm happy in and I want to go to every day. I know it's hard, not everyone gets that, but if I had to create an ideal scenario, that would be that. I don't know if I even want to mention children. Do I want a kid? I don't know. So maybe that too, them. We're not calling a child that. But yeah, I think as well, if we're inputting this channel, I would still be doing this channel. and hopefully have a lot more subscribers. But forget the numbers, to be honest. I just want anyone that watches me or subscribes to me to enjoy my content and want to watch it. So as long as I've still got that, then I'll be good. Also health, quite important. I'm currently trying to improve my fitness and my general health, so that is a good one as well. I feel like I answered that question, but if I don't, feel free to call me out down below and let me know if you want me to answer it further in the comments. My question is, what is your best top tip for a novice cash stuffer? I wouldn't say I'm an expert at it. I definitely still have my moments and months where I fall off the wagon, and I have random spending sprees, and I think, oh, you know what, let me just dip into my savings. I think if you are beginning your budgeting journey, you need to sit down with a pen and paper and have a look, I'd say, at your last 3 months of expenses. Write down all of your outgoings, your bills, your non-negotiables, and see if you took away everything else and just focused on what needed to be paid, i.e. rent, mortgage, your food, your electric, all that jazz. Take away all of that and sit down and see what you have left and try and see if budgeting will work for you and what your priorities are. I think that is definitely the first step, because yeah, you need to see where you're at first before you know where you're going. And also there's plenty of us currently in the cash stuffing community that do it, so feel free to use the free resources that you have from us, whether it's following us, inboxing us, asking us questions, watching YouTube videos. There is content out there for you. So if you're not sure where to start, I'd say definitely look at your budget and where you're currently at and use the resources that you have around you. Next, my question is, what originally got you into cash stuffing? I try and pinpoint this a lot. I vaguely remember it was about a couple of months after I moved in with my sister and moved up from London, and for some reason on my For You page, it's not even a For You page, it's just the home page of YouTube, I had a recommendation. I think it was for a Taylor Budgets YouTube video on cash stuffing, and for some reason I clicked on it. I was like, what is this? I need to know what cash stuffing and envelopes are. So I started to watch it and I thought, what is this? I like this. I'm quite a minimal organised human, so the thought that I could organise my money, I was like, what? So I did start watching other YouTube videos. I watched quite a few. I watched Budget with Ira as well. There was more American that showed up than UK. I think also I watched Pinching the Pennies as well. Her video came up. So it was just that. It just happened to be on my YouTube channel at the time, and I started doing it, and then M from Budget with M was like, hey, why don't you start a YouTube channel? So I did, and the rest is history. Right, let's have a look. Sorry, it's just me reading. My question is random, but are you a cat or dog person? I feel like I'm going to offend some humans. I'm not going to lie here. I was never brought up with pets, so I'm not a particularly, what word was that? But I'm kind of neutral when it comes to pets. I like the idea of having a dog, but things like picking up their poo, don't know if that's a bit of me. But yeah, I'm kind of indifferent. Does that make me weird? Probably. That's my answer. what's your funniest memory with a friend? This is a weird one, isn't it? Funniest memory. So I can't think of anything specific, but for me, I'm more spontaneous than anything, so it might not be a particular funny moment, but I know for sure I've definitely had some really funny, cozy, fun times with my friend Helena and her fiance, doing like random stuff. I'd go to their flat and sleep over, and we'd just have like cozy vibes, cozy nights, good foods, and maybe a spontaneous game of Never Have I Ever, in which you find out some crazy things about people. It's one of my favourite games to play because I barely drink, guys. I'm good. So let's see what the next one is. My question is, how long have you lived with your sister and family? So I have actually lived with my sister for 2 years now. I moved up in June of 2021, I think. It was after COVID? It was after COVID. No, it wasn't. That's a lie. It wasn't after COVID, but it was after one bit of COVID or two. I don't know. COVID times all just merged into one. London was no longer feasible for me because I wasn't able to have money to move out and that kind of thing, and I was kind of stuck with my job. It wasn't providing me with enough money, and I had a bit of a breakdown. Called up my sister. She was like, just move in, and I thought, why not? And the rest is history. I was lucky enough to find a job before I moved here though, so that was very beneficial. I moved here on the Saturday, started work on the Monday. I no longer work there, but that is when I moved. Cool. So my question is, if you won your first prize giveaway, where would you be eating? Oh, it's key to note that this was a giveaway on my YouTube channel. Sorry guys, I just had to put my phone charger in. So where would I be eating? I feel like you can't beat like a good prezzo or somewhere like that. I don't tend to go to places to eat out. A Miller and Carl would be a good shout as well, to be honest. Good steak and peppercorn sauce. To be honest, I would just be happy to eat out anywhere because it would just be a treat. I don't really do it. I don't budget for it, etc. So when I do, I try and get something on the menu that I won't be able to put on the plate at home, basically. Right, what is next? Okay, so this is similar to a previous one. Do you have goals for certain time frames? 1, 5 and 10 years, etc. If so, what are they? So we've answered the 5-year one. In a year, so in a year I'll be 29. Ideally in a year I won't be living with my sister. I think I've got it in my head now that I don't have to have a mortgage to move out. It would make my life more difficult, do not get me wrong, and I don't think budget wise I could save for a mortgage while I'm also renting. But I want my own space. I want the flexibility to do what I want and express myself however I want. So yeah, hopefully in a year I will be moved out. Hopefully there'll be growth on this channel, on my Instagram. Hopefully I will be a lot happier, which sounds sad, but I promise you it's not. I'm doing things at the moment in my life to improve it. So I'm picking up good habits, trying to run, trying to incorporate more exercise, trying to take vitamins, trying to sit down and journal more and put a bit more time into my faith as well. So I do try and sit down and watch my weekly sermon with my Bible and do a bit of Bible study, I guess. And then 10 years, gosh, 38 sounds delightful. Pretty much the same as 5 years, to be honest. If I have a partner, hopefully marriage, but it's not the be all and end all, I don't think. I don't just want to prosper myself, but obviously I want my family and my friends to also be in a very good position and happy, etc. I don't know if I'm being vague. I'm sorry if I am being vague. I'm trying to think on the spot. I haven't read these ahead of time. Okay. No, this next question is going to be a problem. Of course, it's Joe who asks me them. Hi Joe. Thanks for being a loyal subscriber, I guess. So yeah, what is your favourite book? I can't answer this question. Well, I can, kind of. So if you don't know, I love reading. I have a Kindle. I'm also creating my own library. It's not a room, it's literally a bookcase. It's not massive. Anyway, I love reading, and this is a hard question, but if I had to recommend any book to everyone, it would be Matt Haig's Reasons to Stay Alive. Now, this is a book that one of my cousins recommended to me when I was in my second year of uni. I was going through some things and I was in quite a depressed and sad mood, and she recommended this book and said, read it, I think it's really going to help you. And when I tell you, this book changed a lot. I have bought multiple copies. I don't seem to have any. I loan them out to people because it is one of those books. You don't have to suffer with anxiety and depression to read it. Just reading it with a more of an idea of someone who may have it or may be suffering with symptoms of it or just be in a bad place in their life, I think it is so eye-opening, and it's definitely a book I would recommend to everyone. So yeah, that would be my answer. I can't answer it otherwise. So yeah. What do you do when you feel your goals on budgeting are gonna take too much time or they are almost impossible to reach? How do you inspire yourself to keep it up? Okay. I think I start with realism, to be quite honest. What's my biggest one? What have I done so far? I have, for example, I finished my 50 envelope challenge. That took me, I think, 10 months to complete. I was using overtime money and any extra money that I could squirrel away, and it basically funded the majority of my portion for my parents' birthday / anniversary cruise that me and my sisters put them on. They literally went on it less than a month ago. But that definitely took time. I think for me, it's seeing it. It's because I have it in physical cash, and because, for example, with that one, I could see the envelopes, how many I had left, how many were there, and if I wanted to, I could count up all the envelopes that I had saved already, and that helped me a lot. Also, making myself accountable. Like, you don't have to specifically have a YouTube channel to hold yourself accountable. You could just tell, I don't know, your partner, your colleague, your friend, someone, and then maybe they'll ask you, how's that going? And you kind of have to hold yourself accountable. I haven't done anything more drastic than that, I don't think. So yeah, that's kind of how I do it personally. There's nothing that is impossible, because I almost, and I don't know if this is right, but I don't, not that I don't dream that big, but I don't create goals like that. I'm not in that position to do that yet. So I'm never going to sit here and be like, need to get that £600,000 house. It's not going to happen, especially not by myself. So I'm just comfortable going a little bit lower and going, oh, let's aim for a 2-bed flat or a 2-bed house by this point in my life, and it's more manageable. It's still goal setting and still budgeting, but it's not something so outrageous, because a lot of the time, if you feel like you're getting nowhere, that's when you're gonna give up, and that's when you're gonna think, screw it, I'm just gonna spend this money on, I don't know, a Louis Vuitton bag. So I think just making it more realistic and kind of breaking it down a little bit like you would at the start of your budgeting journey, where you would see how much money you had to work with, rather than going, I get paid, I don't know, £2,000, so 1,500 is just budgeting when your bills are going to exceed about 800 of it. It's just not realistic. So I hope that answered your question. What is your favourite time of the day to sit on budgeting? I'm going to assume you mean when's my favourite time of day to create my budget. It was a lot easier to create my budget at my old job, because we would get a pay slip about 4 days before we got paid. 3 or 4 days, something like that. But it would always be whatever day I got the pay slip. So it would always come down to about 6, 7, 8 p.m. at night. I just would always want to do it ASAP, so that my money's not sitting there, or I'm not aimlessly spending without knowing. Whereas someone might want to wait till the weekend if they get paid on like a, I don't know, Wednesday. I can't personally do that. So mine just ends up being late night. It does hurt my head a bit, which is why I don't video it. But it just ends up being that way. Yeah. So whatever day I get paid, whatever day I get pay slip, either or. My new job, it has to be the day that got paid, because the pay slip doesn't come out until then. And I just can't touch my account unless bills. Which of the items from your budget, I can't speak. Which of the items from your budgeting setup are your fave? Well, you can't ask me that. I feel like I can't physically do my videos without my phone, obviously. I can't do my videos without my tripod. I've tried to use a different one, didn't work. So if I had to choose one thing entirely, tripod, clampy thing, which I will link down below if you're interested. Love it. I think it's about 30 quid. Love that. If it is something physical, I don't really know. If it's nothing equipment wise and more about something else, I don't know. I can't answer that question. So we're just gonna go with the tripod, because I can't think of anything else. Oh, what is your ultimate money goal? £1 million. No. For me, it's easy to throw around the term financially stable, but that's what I want to be. And to me personally, that looks like owning my own property. It doesn't have to be outright. I could just be on the mortgage situation, because let's be honest, what am I doing to be owning outright? So on the property market, have an emergency budget saved of somewhere between £1,000 and £3,000, I'd say, for emergencies. Have the same kind of amount saved in personal savings, and then depending on where I'm at in life, like if I go down the route of children, have savings accounts for them, etc. And I guess it's one of those things where you want, like, ideal goal would be to go shopping and not necessarily be worried about price tags. By that I don't mean I'm gonna go walk down Bond Street and go into all the designer shops, but could just go on a massive spree in Primark and not be like, oh, £7 for those leggings, let me not. Do you know what I mean? Just be able to go for a shop somewhere, go for a food shop, and if it's, I don't know, £50 more expensive, I'm not stressing. I think that's a decent goal. I like this question. Where would be your chosen / bucket list holiday destination if money was no object? For me, and if anyone knows me, they should know the answer to this question. For me, number one on my bucket list is New Zealand. I have always wanted to visit there. I'm hopefully, all the fingers and toes crossed, aiming to be there next year at some point. I want to really go and visit. My friend was like, I can't do one without going to Australia at the same time because you're all the way down there. So it could be a double Australia-New Zealand situation. But that is my number one bucket list. It has been for the longest time. So there. Obviously there's your traditional Bali, Maldives, those types of vibes if money was no option. But that's what I think. That's where I would go. Okay, this kind of goes on from the next one. Or not the next one, one of the previous ones. How do you ensure your goals are realistic and achievable? I think, for me, if I thought about something, like if I said, I don't know, what am I gonna, I want a Ferrari. I don't even know how much Ferraris are, but let's just say we want a Ferrari, and a Ferrari's like $500,000. Realistically, I need to think about how long is that going to take me, because if I think about it, I ain't going to be able to afford a Ferrari, even on finance. So I think just thinking about your goal, how long it's going to take you, and that kind of warrants if it's achievable for you. Whereas if I said I want a new car and I go down to the dealership and I maybe pick a more newer car and it's on finance and it's doable, we work out a monthly cost, that's more achievable. So I think it's knowing where you're at, your wages, your priorities, and then basing it on that, because it's okay to achieve and dream big things, but you also don't want to be frustrated because you're not getting far with one thing. So instead of Ferrari, maybe go for a financed newer car with, I don't know, heated seats. I don't know, am I making sense? Probably not. Right guys, my lighting's probably gonna have changed, my position's probably gonna have changed. I've decided that I am splitting this video up because there are far too many questions. So it might be a 2 or even a 3-part video depending on when I'm editing how much content there is. But I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Obviously, like I've just said, if there's anything I have been a bit vague about or that you want further questions or details on, if I haven't already filmed the next bit of the video, I will include that as well for you. Or perhaps just answer it in the comments for you to the best of my ability. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I am glad I've done this so we can be a bit more personable, I guess. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a good day. Until I see you next time, guys. Bye!